You see a lot of innovation happening from DP World, you see innovation happening from Abu Dhabi ports, you see it happening from many of the big operators because we simply have to.
But why didn't the terminals build enough surge capacity to deal with this problem?
I fully share your views on this. I think the other element is also there is a physical limitation to it as well, right? So I think before the pandemic, if you looked at utilization on terminal capacity around the world, you still had plenty of capacity in many regions. In some regions, like in our region, we had plenty of capacity to serve any surge in volumes coming in and out, right? So I don't think that there was any crisis at that moment in time where everybody was super urgent about it. You had your regions where, of course, you still had to plan for the future, and you had your congestions, and maybe Indonesia and maybe other places where you wanted to, of course, expand. But that would always be the case. Now you have all of a sudden had a situation happening on a global scale where all of a sudden the surge in volumes, also caused by operational difficulties, all of a sudden absorbed all your capacity. So of course it's not the same situation everywhere, and you still have many ports where capacity is still available. But in order then to say I have available berth, and how do I then bring more vessels in and can handle more throughput? Well, if you had to go and buy cranes, you would still have to wait 12 to 24 months to get a crane, if you could get one. And then the whole ordering cycle of it, and even trying to build more capacity, establish more capacity, it's a very long-term process and a huge capex as well. And since everybody was, of course, in limbo in terms of understanding, how quickly this happened, no real planning took place for saying that, could we have expected this to happen? I think everybody had buffer capacity available, right? If you looked at Europe, if you looked at the US. So in general, people were struggling maybe to get the financials to stack up, and nobody had put in, crazy capex to try and, what if this happens? You don't plan on your peak, right? You don't invest on your peak. You invest on, what your long-term growth trajectory looks like, so you can still retain a financial return that is acceptable and utilization of your assets. And of course, we have a situation where now this whole just-in-time has been blown apart, and we don't have a well-functioning supply chain system that is just-in-time any longer. What does that really mean for us? Does it really mean, when it comes to the shipping side, that people are now going to near source, people are going to buy their product somewhere else? What is the long-term planning of it? It could also be that we should just expect that, well, this is just a blip on the long-term horizon, that we will get back to normal in 3 years, and then we'll be back to some kind of smooth sailing. So why would you want to invest heavily into port capacity when long-term you're not going to utilize your assets? We have to become a lot more efficient. Our cost base is always under pressure. So that's why you see a lot of innovation happening from DP World. You see innovation happening from Abu Dhabi ports. You see it happening from many of the big operators, because we simply have to. And it is a cost game, it's a scale game. So could anybody in our industry have predicted this to happen? No, I don't really think so. But I think we are all having our scenario planning for what can happen in our region. How can we absorb if something happening in our neighboring countries, and we have to, let's say, absorb more capacity and handle their services and vessels? I think we are capable of doing that, and I think we have done this during this period of time. So I think we have to look at very different dimensions on how we tackle the situation. I don't think in our case that we can necessarily compete with the return on investment that the shipping lines are delivering these days. But we are in it for the long run. So our investment's is like 100 years. It's not just a 5-year return plan that we're looking into. But of course the pressure is there, and we have to build it into our planning as well. And things are changing. I personally don't think that supply chain will necessarily completely be disrupted if you look at the long-term aspect. But everybody will have to give it a second thought about how do you buy products going forward? What is the stock level you're going to keep as a factory? But since everybody's in a competitive game, I do believe we're going to move back to the lowest stock level as you possibly can hold, and try to push your capex onto somebody else. And we'll see how that really pans out and how long this will go on. But I do think that it is a situation we have right now, and everybody is dealing with it as good as we can. And we would, we welcome any customers coming into the Arabian Gulf, because I think we can cope with more. But of course, we cannot resolve everybody else's problem if they cannot, deliver the services to the clients. But at least I think we have a play that we are willing to offer to customers.